Mike the Intern and Jay Stevens in the studio today. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 144. This week was Jay Stevens' pick. Documentary about a guy duo from England called Wham. I had no idea you were such a big fan.
Well, I'm a fan of, and I'd say an American success story, but this is actually like a worldwide. But hey, two young kid buddies set to take on the world, and they did it. So I love that. I love that, man. And like these kids had a plan. Hey, we want to become huge pop stars, and these guys did it, man.
Okay, obviously wake me up before you go, all that stuff. But
yeah, the songs weren't that great. Careless Whisper is a good song, but the other songs, a lot of those songs were really
they were definitely built and created to take over a demo, and that was like teen pop stuff in this, and it worked. I mean, hell, I listen to Last Christmas every year.
Oh yeah,
I love that song. It's such a great song. Obviously Freedom, another great song. What was Wham Never Gonna Dance Again, or is that straight up George Michael?
They went. That was when the first time they said just George Michael.
So,
but yeah, and this guy produced the stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And in fact, to go record with the Muscle Shoals guys, and then go, no, I'm not going to use that version. I'm going to produce my own version. That's pretty baller.
Yeah, especially to be that young and I guess green in the industry to make a.
They were, it's the whole thing. They were very young. That was a knocks on them. They were very young. They were goofy.
Yeah,
you know. And then the fact, here this whole time, I thought both of them were gay. The whole time. And then all of a sudden, this documentary, one of them was actually out there womanizing, living the rock star life, while the other one was hiding his sexuality.
And obviously that was George Michael, but yes, Andrew was a womanizer and definitely lived the dream and picked up a lot of chicks in that period. Probably some of the girls that were after George Michael. Either way, we'll talk more about their story. It's Wham, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. .7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens, two guys in the studio on a rock station discussing Wham.
Yeah, you never thought you'd hear this day.
Well, you never thought you'd think Jay Stevens would be the one to pick this
should
one.
Be airing on April Fools, actually. But.
I guarantee you this: I will not play a Wham song after this.
I was never a Wham fan, but I saw them, with the whole "Wake Me Up Before You Go" in those shirts with words on it. Their outfits were way crazy, goofy outfits.
A lot of hot pinks,
short shorts,
a lot of short shorts.
But by the time they hit like the Live Aid time, George Michael with the black jeans and the black leather vest, dude, he looked good.
But that was the end. That was like the end. He came out with the beard. He did the "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me,"
yeah,
and that was like the way he catapulted himself to say, "I'm George Michael, and this is my solo career."
And good on his buddy for going. You know what? It was time for him to go off on his own. He was the big star, and I was cool with just letting him go. And I had my 4 years of fun. Only 4 years they did it, and they took over the world. And he's like, "I'm good. I'm
so done." Quick, and it just goes to show you how long, especially with these pop sensations, those things really burn out. But that you're right, and that's a good point I wanted to bring up. And we'll do it now. At the end of it, and after 4 years, and they toured the crap. They toured the crap out of stuff. They were making all this money. They were like the first Western group really to be in China.
To play China, right.
Which that story in itself is interesting because the promoter, it was either them or Queen. Right.
Wow.
And so he takes a picture of George and Andrew and makes them look really conservative, really good looking young men. And then he takes just a very flamboyant picture of Freddie Mercury and gives them to the officials in China and says, "Who do you guys want to come into your country?" Well, they picked Wham, which I think is funny. But yes, there is no animosity from Andrew at all.
No, he was so supportive.
He was what basically happened was at a certain point, George Michael obviously dealing with what he was dealing with in his life. And yes, you were right. He had to be in the closet. He was definitely not open about being gay when he was in Wham at all. I mean, you could make your guesses, but he was
so
not
weird,
open.
Though, back then,
not open about it.
Back then that nobody did it. And nowadays it's very accepted, you know?
Well, you're going after a demo nowadays, but yes, you are right in the money. Like you mentioned before we started talking, guys like Rob Halford, they weren't ever open about it. Freddie Mercury, who was extremely flamboyant, was never really open about his thing because ultimately it's none of our damn business. It really isn't.
Yeah.
It just isn't.
Yeah.
But the fact that, after all this was said and done, George Michael was like, "Look, man, I want to do serious subject matter. I want to kind of push and go into a more adult oriented music as opposed to this teen stuff that we're doing." Andrew's like, "I don't have it in me. Good luck, sir." And that's awesome.
He also said he was kind of getting burnt out on it.
Also
he said
true.
it was fun and they had a great time, but it's like 4 years of that. He's like, I was done. And then the dude really did just kind of right off in the sunset, right?
Yeah, he tried kind of doing his own thing. He went out to LA to try and be an actor for a minute, but eventually by, I think it was like 1990, he went back to Britain and was like, I'm done.
But these guys were two little best buds from when they were like, what, 12 years old or something?
So I'm like, they met in prep school and started doing their thing. And again, like
literally took over
4
the world,
years,
man.
82 to 86,
Yeah,
35 million records worldwide. So that just goes to show you that sometimes when things are hot, they are extremely hot. We'll talk more about Wham next, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens in the studio discussing Wham. So we
Mike
all know
woke me up before I go.
Yeah, he. Well, actually, you're the one who wake me up before I go. So again, at the end of the day, George Michael wanted to be more serious. Andrew was like, go ahead, that's fine.
Well, he wanted to be respected as a songwriter, and nobody was really giving him that credit. But then Elton John was like, no, this guy's legit, you guys, and took him under his wing, kind of, I think,
You know what's crazy? And this just goes to show you about how most guys, when they're writing songs and songwriters, they talk about just that one hit, right? That one hit. You know what I mean? You got to get that one hit and you're just going to get paid.
No.
As long as you got the rights. And in this case, they did get some rights for their music. Since 1982, in the case of Andrew, he's reportedly amassed over 10 million pounds from the sales and royalties of records. 10 million pounds over 4 years of work. Okay. Much of that comes from Careless Whisper, which he co-wrote. It sold 6 million copies worldwide. And as of 2020, it's the 37th best-selling single of all time in the UK. Over 1.3 million copies. So a lot of that money that he gets, tens of thousands of pounds a year, just comes from writing one song. Wow. One song. So he didn't have to do anything. He literally could just be like, oh, cool. I got another check for one song that I wrote
just go party
40 years ago. And it's cool. No big deal.
Yeah. So it's like it's almost like he might be the smartest guy of them all.
I think you are right on the money, dude.
If
you get in there and you can figure out a way to not get screwed by the record companies and the deal that you sign,
you can go be a big rock star for a couple years,
burn it out,
boom, play the arenas, tour the world, and then peace out, get my check, and I'm gonna cruise.
Let's go back
rather than the pressure and stress of having to keep. But look what happened to his partner, George Michael. He ended up dying, heart attack, right?
Well,
heart failure.
Heart failure. Probably, yeah. And again,
they ended up getting caught in a bathroom playing with dudes.
You're
public bathroom.
You're right on the money when it says, or Neil Young, is it better to burn out than to fade away, right? So in the fade away case, in this would probably be the better way. Obviously, sometimes people will say it'll be better to go out at the top. Wham did that. But then Andrew goes off in the sunset. Michael continues on the career, which made him even more of a superstar.
Oh, yeah.
But
he
the
sold
fall
120 million records after Wham.
Yeah. But again, that's the chance you take. And as a gambler yourself, man, there's no reward without the risk.
And look at a lot of these like C-level bands, right? So I'm not talking like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, but there's bands that have like kind of a hit, right?
Let's take
they're out there still trying to tour and they're not making money hand over fist. They're just trying to stay afloat. You know what I'm saying?
But again, they made really bad deals with the record companies and they're not making money off of cherry pie.
Right.
They're just not. They're making money on ticket sales and merch sales, and that's it.
Off the name. And so they have to keep out their hammering. So this dude might have took the best route. Did it for 4 years, lived the dream, and rather than being the guy playing the casinos at 60 years old, he's like, no, I'm on the beach, yo. Chilling.
Living his life,
dude,
the way he wants.
Well, maybe we should go out on top, Mike.
We need to figure out what song we're going to write to a bunch of teenagers to make us millionaires for the rest of our lives.
We'll put on tight shorts like they did.
As long as they're pink. Either way, we'll talk about
blue. I'll wear coral.
We'll give this our pink pants review next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode 144, discussing Wham.
Yes.
So how many pink pant reviews would you give this one?
You know, it was nice. I didn't know that George Michael was a hands-on producer like he was, so I got props for that. And you know, like I said, I didn't really know their story. I thought they're just both two gay guys that kind of did it and faded out. But no, I didn't know that the one dude took the smart route, cashed in, and dipped out. So hey, I appreciate it.
Did you say 4?
I'll give it a 4. Yeah.
4 pink pants.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought again, and literally,
it was short too. They didn't stretch it out over 8 episodes or some nonsense.
Concise.
It was good.
You got a story about a band that literally was just like gone in 4 years and sold a lot of records in that short amount of time. We're everywhere.
The American dream.
Yeah, from England. But yeah, I you know, it's like one of those things. It's like, did I really want to know all this stuff about Wham? Well, I don't really know, but I do know that I'm glad I do, because there's a lot of stuff I didn't know behind the scenes.
Cool.
And you know, when you look at a band like this, you always have the tendency to think, oh, it's a record company plant. You know, the A&R guy saw George Michael at a tea shop one day, and they saw the other guy, and they're just feeding him songs. It's a nilly. These guys produce their own stuff. They wrote their own stuff. They did it all themselves. And granted, yes, it was towards a certain demo, but hats off to them for being smart about it and making that money.
Yep, they did it.
All right, next week, Dark Side of Stream is my pick, and I'm going to make you watch a documentary series about arguably one of the greatest men to ever act, govern, or pick up a set of weights. Arnold Schwarzenegger. The documentary is called Arnold. It's a limited series on Netflix, and the story is incredible. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch it. And it's such a God, the guy is the most badass dude of all time, in my opinion. I know I'm biased, but either way, I'm Mike the Intern. This is Jay Stevens reminding you we can watch these on Facebook, 9 a.m. every Thursday, or YouTube, or listen to it on my show.
Jordan, you have a hard time with
For some reason, Jordan's phone doesn't work, but they're there. Jordan, I promise. We checked it. We double-checked it, actually. But thank you for letting us know. I'm Mike the Intern. This is Jay Stevens reminding you we watch movies so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.